Okay, guys, I'm just decided. Let's just sit down and do probably hope to make it almost an hour, maybe more, of just sitting and talk about everything, or more, not everything, just talking about some of my favorite things like ANW, Star Wars, Survivor, movies. But if you want to talk, so I'll maybe talk about structure, 10 minutes of ANW, 10 minutes of Survivor, which I already made a separate video on my Survivor 40 episode 8 thoughts. Maybe a few minutes of Clone Wars and movie delays and all that stuff. So let's start by talking about movie delays. So I've already talked about it, but Wonder Woman, Black Widow, New Mutants, which by the way must be cursed, because this is probably the 4th or 5th release date of New Mutants. What else? Peter Rabbit got moved twice. Not that anybody cares. What else got delayed? Mulan obviously got delayed. Morbius, by the way, just got delayed till I believe March. Sony also delayed Ghostbusters for March. I think March 5th. I know it's March 15th and March 19th for Morbius and Ghostbusters, but I'm not sure which one's which. If I had to take a wild guess, I'd guess Morbius is March 5th, Ghostbusters is March 19th. That's just a wild guess. I think Wonder Woman 1984, which got moved to August 14th. I won't be surprised if Wonder Woman doesn't move again, if I'm being honest. Because you just saw Peter Rabbit, who got a late March release date, or late August release date, got moved till January of 2021. And so that moved back. Yeah, I also wondered, for Oscars. Because it's even if this all dies down in August or September, the problem with films coming out in December or November is that you need a couple of months to build up a marketing campaign. But if this is still going on for the next few months, studios are not going to want to invest money into trailers and posters when they're unsure if their film is going to hit that release date, aka they might have to get delayed, not because of they're scared this is still going to be going on till December or January, but more or less to build up a big enough marketing campaign. So I think that is an interesting question to come into consideration. Because, I think that is interesting to really think about that, because it's also even if it does go on, it's crazy how this year is going to have very few movies. I really do believe that. The odds of there being $1 billion film this year, I will go lower than 25. Lower than 25%. I'll give it less than a 25% chance of there being $1 billion film at the box office this year. Because $1 billion films, now seem more common than ever. But even before this whole coronavirus thing, I didn't think that there was going to be $1 billion film. Maybe I thought maybe Wonder Woman, maybe Black Widow, maybe Bond, but no obvious choices. And then now, all this. Now, films like Fast 9 getting delayed and Black Widow, who knows, I doubt that, obviously, Black Widow and Wonder Woman will go streaming. Black Widow, I think they're waiting for Black Widow just to throw into theaters as soon as theaters open. I would have a feeling that would be one of those films that they just want out there, as soon as theaters open. that also brings up another interesting thing. Is, do theaters re-release big films for free? And I was thinking, that actually makes sense. Because on the hindsight of it, it's like, for free, theaters and studios won't make any money. But that's not necessarily the case. Because, remember, movie theaters, make most of their money through popcorn and candy and their concession foods and whatnot. And studios don't really have to worry because we'd probably be talking about big films that already made studios tons of money. And it actually benefits studios because that gives them the time to build up a marketing campaign and not have to worry about having to put films in theaters just to have films in theaters. And so it's a win-win situation all around. Is movie theaters still get money from popcorn and whatnot, and studios, still get to build up marketing campaigns for, their new films. Because, if we're talking, suppose they throw Avengers Endgame or Infinity War or Avatar or Star Wars in theaters again. I mean, it's not like they're gaining any money, but they're also gaining time. But they're also not losing any money because if we're talking Avengers Endgame, that already made them billions of trillions of dollars. So it's one of those situations where I don't know if they're going to do it, but it's kind of a win-win situation for everyone. And Trolls 2 went on straight to DVD. But there's a big asterisk with that, is the way they did it. Because basically what happened was, Trolls 2 was never going to make as much money as the first one did. And so they were going to lose money before this whole coronavirus thing, started. But what was wrong, sort of wrong about that, is, yes, in the short term, pulling Trolls 2 out of the release schedule and not delaying it would be a not so financially good move on Universal's part. But the response of the movie theaters, because remember, I think Trolls 2 was the first, big profile film, big profile film to be pulled off the release schedule, especially for kids and whatnot, and how big the first one became. And, the head of the North America film industry basically said, we will never forget this. This is just not a good, because when all these theaters are cooperating and delaying all their, films back, you're not. You're just pulling it off. And it's one of those things where movie theaters and studios are coexistent together. They're an ecosystem. They live together. They thrive together. One cannot survive without the other. If you just say, hey, studios can make films, but they can't put them in theaters, that doesn't work. But movie theaters can be open, but no films can be playing in it. That's just not how it works. So they have to work together. They have to coexist. Movie theaters, studios. Studios need their films in movie theaters. Movie theaters need to show films to survive. Now, none of that's happening. Studios can't make movies, and movie theaters can't show films. And so, studios, or more or less theaters, they need hope. As far as, because a lot of movie theaters, and a lot of businesses in general, are going to go out of business. In which it's one of those situations where, despite how much Universal might get screwed if they do show Trolls 2 in theaters eventually, movie theaters are going to get screwed over, because that's one of those films where a lot of kids are going to come in. A lot of, those kids' popcorn deals and those kids' candy deals and the candy and the popcorn. Because like we said, movie theaters get most of their money from concession stands. And so it's one of those things where it's they need to work together. And by showing that they can't work together, that Universal doesn't want to show Trolls 2 in theaters despite the potential bombing that could occur. They still don't want to show Trolls 2 in theaters. That's just a backlash to the movie theaters. Because the movie theaters, they get hope when they realize, oh, when all this is said and done, we'll see big profile films like Black Widow from Disney, Wonder Woman from Warner Brothers, Morbius from Sony, and all that stuff. Yes, Universal has Fast 9 delayed, but also one of their other big films that, the movie theaters were obviously looking forward to seeing was Trolls 2, which is now gone straight to DVD. And that's just a big hit to the theaters, and more or less their ecosystem with the studios and their relationship. And I think the big thing is the line of, "We will never forget this," said by the North America head of the theater industry. And that is important, because short term, Trolls 2 wouldn't make that much money for us anyways. Long term, the relationship of, suppose normally Universal might get 60% of the box office profit. Maybe now the theaters will say, hey, 50-50 split. So it's long term, the relationship is damaged. But right now, it's a short-term win for Universal. But long-term, it might backfire for films like Fast 9 and whatnot. And so that is an interesting scenario, nonetheless. What else was I going to say? So yeah, I think that's interesting. Onward was just released on Disney Plus, which was good. I'm happy. It's one of those things where it's Clone Wars and Survivor, because now we're switching to TV shows. Clone Wars and Survivor are one of those few things that make my week, because every day it's the same stuff. You do all this, you watch films, you do this stuff, but the new stuff is Survivor and Clone Wars every week. The only stuff I can really look forward to every week are those stuff. And so it's every, Friday, every Wednesday, it's the best to realize today's a new Survivor episode. I just woke up and I realized I can watch Clone Wars. They're really good feelings. Another show I've been watching is The Goldbergs. That show's really funny because it's really got me to watch a lot of 80s films and TV shows and songs, because it's basically about, this family, the Goldbergs, and it's actually based on, the main character, Adam Goldberg's real life. And so, they could have, guest appearances from the real characters. It's just funny, just to see the 80s dynamics. And, I didn't grow up in the 80s, obviously, but just the idea of, all these different, 80s references that, again, I didn't live in the 80s, but I can understand them and get me to learn about the 80s and from a bunch of different things. And it's really funny as a family, as a whole, because obviously our parents grew up in the 80s, and so seeing, that relationship, that dynamic, that was interesting. So I've been watching that. So let's talk about ANW for a little bit. St. Louis, DC, and LA all postponed. And I don't know if it'll, I 100% don't think it'll end up being during the summer. ANW. I doubt that they're most likely going to skip season 12. And we're gonna have to wait till season 13. Because if they decided to say, hey, we'll change it up by having it during, the fall. We'll film during the fall. And as unlikely as that might be, maybe they just say, hey, all ninjas go to DC, it's inside, we don't have to worry about the weather, and then release it, and then do Vegas and whatnot. It disrupts the whole schedule. So I think they're most likely, as much as I love ANW, I think they're just going to skip season 12, and they'll come back 2021 season 12. I mean, I guess on the bright side, I only have to wait till season. I don't have to wait that many seasons, I guess, because I skip 2020. I mean, I don't know. They're most likely going to miss out on 2020. I'm not saying that they're going to skip season 12 and go straight to 13, but as far as filming in 2020 goes, that probably won't happen. Yeah. I'm just going to say some of my favorite episodes. Because I don't think I've actually really clarified some of my favorite episodes of the show, ANW. American Ninja Warrior. Daytona Finals is probably my favorite episode. There's a lot of sentimental value as that being my first live taping I went to. I've been to Baltimore, Miami, and Daytona Finals. And so, Miami Finals specifically, Baltimore qualifying, and Daytona Finals, to be more specific. And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think the editing is necessarily the best in this episode, but I just think the value of sometimes like during Michael Johnson and Josh Butler and Michael Johnson, I could constantly be like, oh, there's me, because I had actually a good view right in front of the salmon ladder in the wall. So you could actually see me, on quite a bit of runs. And seeing ninjas like Drew Dreshel, I mean, I didn't see them live, but, obviously the great results of seeing Drew Dreshel breaking through on the course, Jesse Graff, as much as I would love to see Travis Rose and Ryan Stratus get full runs, I mean, you did see JJ Woods mid-run, so I just like it. I really love it. And every time I watch it, I'm like, but I don't really like the editing, and they should have shown more ninjas. But then every time, it's Drew Dreshel's Daytona Finals run might be my favorite run of all time. Same thing with Jesse. I love Jesse Graff's Finals run because she didn't get a City Finals buzzer, but she did so good to a point where it's like, if it was any other finals obstacle, she would have finished. And so that's why it's like, honestly, her run was honestly, in some ways, a bigger success than Michelle Morkey and Jesse Lebrecht's finish. Because yes, they got a City Finals buzzer,